The following is a production of Boiling Springs, Upstate Prepcast.
And welcome in to another edition of Real Talk with Coach Matt Real. Tom Dixon along with Ken Walters and Todd Waddell behind the camera. Glad to have you in tonight. And Coach, coming off of a big win here at home against Wade Hampton, a lot of positives came through the game. And I think at least once, I don't remember seeing any big injuries in this game, which is a welcome change considering the last 3 or 4 weeks we've had a lot of guys not get to play or have to leave the game.
Yeah, no doubt. It was nice to be as successful as we were, to play at a high level, and then obviously just be clean, as far as injuries and getting some guys back in, and hopefully this week getting a few more guys back in. And I told the guys, man, the whole plan is to be playing our best football at the end of the season. And, we got 3 weeks left, 2, kind of rivalry games, I guess you want to say, just because, we've played these teams for so long, and the bigger classifications, and you got Riverside sandwiched in between them. So, 3 weeks, I keep telling our guys, man, like, we are so lucky because we have all these opportunities to play really good people and to make a statement, to prove yourself, and to get good film against good people. And then ultimately, try to finish as high up in this region as we can and host a home playoff game and then make a deep run. So, there's a lot of things that we had as goals before the season started that are still in our control. And I preach all the time, whether it's life or football, don't leave your fate in somebody else's hands. The referees, other teams, committees, whatever it may be, max prep rankings. You just never know, what week is going to be that determining factor. So we got a chance these next 3 weeks to prove ourselves, to make some points, and to achieve some big goals for us, man. And I think we're at that time where it's just every little thing you do matters.
Yeah, like we talked about, it is late in the season now. We've got playoff discussions going on. Only 3 games left. We control our own destiny. If we win out, we're at home for a playoff game. I think, Ken, you were looking at something that I think there's projections already, and, projections aren't much. But if we had to go to playoffs today, we're hosting Malden and then beat them and then go down and play Dutch Fork. Suit me fine to get a home playoff game, but we still got 3 games to go. A lot can change.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
A lot can change. But they're already talking about playoffs, and this past Friday night, a win against Wade Hampton was a region win. A lot of good, scoring, offense, defense, special teams, everything did good. Well, none of that matters anymore because now we got another game coming Friday night here. The Vikings coming off a big win against Dorman.
Absolutely.
Last-second field goal against Dorman, so their special teams is kind of special. So we can't leave it up to – we can't let it be that close.
No, they're great. I've been on north-south staff. You get film from everybody. So I've been able to watch, a lot of their kids play. Obviously, the Love kid is unreal as far as a kicker and punter. You watch those guys and you just think, well, they just kick it in the end zone or they kick field goals or they punt. But he's really skilled to where they don't just kick it for touchbacks because they cover so well and he places the ball so well. They can actually pin you in deeper field position than just kicking the ball in the end zone every time, which is crazy. But he's just very skilled. He does a great job, and they use him. It's easy to just say, all right, well, we're just going to kick it in the end zone every single time, or we're just going to do this.
He's a weapon.
They use him, as you would use, as they use their running back, as they use your quarterback, as they use those guys. They use him within the time that he's on the field to take advantage of, a lot. I mean, the Dorman game, they had a pooch kick right in the middle on kickoff. They ended up causing a fumble, which was another possession for them. They had a muffed punt off his kick, recovered it deep in Dorman territory. So they do a lot, and they always pressure in special teams. They want to block punts. They want to create. They fake punted against us a couple times over the last couple of years. They've done it a couple of years this year too. So they're just a really good football team. They're very well coached, and they compete. Man, that's what you want. You want guys that are going to show up. They're going to compete every single day, every rep. Make it personal, and that's what we got to do this week across the board. We got to compete at everything we do.
Well, hopefully we're going to see how good of a punter he is, not so much extra point or field
No
goal.
doubt.
We'd like to see how good of a punter he is. But, like I said last year, they brought the house several times on our punting situation. They're going to try to block it. So we got to have, our special teams has to step up. And we've done a good job this year in special teams, but Friday night's got to be, perfect.
Yeah, they did it. They pressured us a lot last year, whether it was on defense or whether it was on special teams. They pressured us relentlessly last year, especially the first half. We were kind of on our heels the whole first half. Then, for whatever reason, middle of the second quarter, we settled in, and it was I think a 7-7 game.
The rest of the game.
After that, but the first,
I think we spotted them 21 points.
100%. Yeah. So you look at that. I take things away from it, but if you're just looking at the score, it's 28-7. So we got to come out and we got to land and throw haymakers, and we got to make ourselves established, and they got to know we're going to be here. And if we don't do that, then good teams like that are going to take advantage of you pretty quick.
Yeah, with them coming off a big win against Dorman, obviously they're very confident. We got to take that away from them as well. And I know the last couple of games we've won the toss and elected to receive the ball instead of defer. Is that just a strategy, or you just want the ball first and set the tone?
Man, I just felt like I was telling the kids to be aggressive, and then we're kicking off. And not that we can't be aggressive defensively, but I just felt confident with our guys, and I felt like we needed to go out and try to go down and score first and just set the tone for the game that way. And, the Dorman week didn't work. Last week it was very efficient. So it's just, to me, if you're going to preach certain things to your kids, they need to see you follow through with that in every facet. And that's just kind of where we were at. We felt good about things both weeks. Feel good about things this week. We just got to go out and execute, and we got to compete.
Yeah, I know you mentioned earlier, had a great practice yesterday, trying to get the game plan in, looking on films. What other kind of preparations are we looking at going forward, ready for Friday?
We got a ton of film, and then obviously just, tendencies we've had the last couple of years against them, things that's part of their program they want to do. The biggest thing for me is their running back's a really good player. He's the guy they want to get the ball to, and their quarterback's a really good player as well. He's a North-South kid, that I'll get to coach in the off season. He's an ECU commit. Does a great job getting the football where it's supposed to go. He really understands their offense, can make all the throws. He's also more mobile this year. I think he was kind of banged up a little bit last year, and they didn't use him as much in that area. And this year he's healthy, looks really good. Not that they're necessarily designed runs for him, but in the spread option game and what they want to do, he's more than willing to pull it and go if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So, They pose some things that give you issues, from a defensive standpoint, and then us offensively, we just got to be us, man. When we stay on people and we're just physical and nasty, and then we can let our quarterbacks be upright and get through their progression and get the ball where it needs to go, we're pretty good. And when we don't, we're not. And that's pretty much the same for everybody, I feel like. But the weeks that we've been really good up front, and giving ourselves a chance to let our receivers work, keep our running backs involved. Not that we got to break it for 15 or 20 yards, but averaging 4 to 5 yards a carry just to keep things balanced and know, hey, you got that in your back pocket, when you need it. We've been pretty good, so we've got to go out and just play a well-rounded game. We can't give them extra possessions. We can't have busts where we just give them something easy. We're going to have to make them earn it, for 4 quarters. And if we can do that, I love our chances being at home and how we play here.
Yeah, obviously keeping their offense off the field is a must. Give our defense a chance to be effective and fresh in the fourth quarter, because you're right, that Lynch is a pretty solid running back, and we're going to have to contain him somehow.
He's a great player, runs extremely hard, talented. I think their O-line doesn't get the credit they deserve. When you got a guy like that, you ain't got to be amazing. You just got to be a speed bump, and that's what the years where I had really good running backs, and just give them an opportunity. Let them make it right. Let them make people miss. Just don't let them. Just make sure they get started. You know what I mean? So that's what we got to do. We got to keep him from getting started.
Coach Rue, I was doing a little scouting today, and I pulled up Spartan High statistics and saw Trent Lynch as the leading runner with 900 and something yards, and got down to the receiver. He's their leading receiver, and I didn't have to go any further in the stats to know everything runs through him. Like you said, they still have a good quarterback, but everything runs through him. And we had a couple of games this year where the opponent got off to a quick start. Eastside scored a long touchdown. Gaffney, I think, had a long touchdown run start. I think if we can, like you said, just play a solid game and not give up anything easy like that, make them earn it. I think that start is going to be important to this game.
Yeah, you can't, against these really good teams we're playing against, you can't make things easy for them. You got to challenge them. You got to make them work. You got to make them have to work to score. They're going to find ways to be successful regardless. You just can't give it to them, and that's going to be the challenge on Friday, is just not giving it to them and making them literally earn everything they get.
Yeah, definitely. And we've already talked about the punter / kicker. How everything's going to run through him, and that's kind of unusual that you're setting up a defense or a game plan, and you got to keep that in mind. That okay, he can kick it in the corner. He can kick it wherever he wants to kick it, and you got to be prepared for that. So that's just another thing at practice that you're going to have to make the kids aware of.
Absolutely. We've spent some extra time this week on some special team stuff, just trying to shore up some things and make sure they understand. Like typically there's only one or two things we're looking at, but here we're trying to cover all of our bases and just make sure everything we think they could do or they would do or we've seen, we're prepared to handle it.
I was watching you practice for the show, and a little more animation going on out there, and the thought that came to my mind, Spartan High is at their practice field doing the same thing. They're getting after their kids, getting prepared to us, because it's a big game. You said it several times this year on your show that it's the next game, and the next game is just as important as any game you've played. It might be Spartan High on the schedule, and it might be for seeding that we talked about, but it's such an important game all the way around for these kids that they're just going to have to show up and be ready for it.
Well, this is big for us because, we've got to start beating consistently those big schools. I was brought here essentially to beat Dorman, Spartanburg, Burns, Gaffney, those schools that we played forever, that we're judged against. That's why that's the expectation. And that's our goal, and we've been really close, and we've beaten Spartanburg a couple years ago, but not consistently. Right. And this is another chance to get that done.
Well, we're going to take a break real quick. We got some guests going to be coming here soon, hopefully, and we'll be back just a minute with the Real Talk with Coach Matt Real.
Have you been hurt by church? Have you maybe lost your faith or lost your way? We understand that at View Church because we've been there. If you're looking for an authentic place to worship with authentic people that understand brokenness, we would love for you to come and be our guest sometime. We have 2 services at 8:30 and 11, and we're located at 5555 Pierce Bridge Road in Bowling Springs. Come, find hope again.
Baby, Wings Etc. now offers online ordering. Use your smartphone, tablet, or computer. Visit to-go.wingsetc.com. It's fast, it's easy, it's convenient, and you can order all your favorites exactly the way you like them. That's to-go.wingsetc.com for a direct connection to all your favorites. Wings, ribs, burgers, wraps, salads, ultimate nachos, and more. Order what you love, and it'll be ready for pickup before you even know it. Online ordering at Wings Etc. Well, click, then go.
Wings Etc. 2644 Bowling Springs Road in Bowling Springs.
Derek Henry.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. I saved so much bundling, it inspired my workout. Auto! Home!
Okay, and this is Auto again, right?
Auto!
Hey, this is my living room.
Home!
Bundling, just another way to save with the personal price plan.
The dog isn't allowed on the couch, Derek.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Call Agent Chad Wagner, Asheville Highway, Spartanburg, 585-7999.
Since 1925, Seawright Funeral Home has been caring for families in the Spartanburg area during the difficult times of personal loss. Staff at Seawright is committed to providing your family with exceptional service. They have an experienced staff. Their facility is located in beautiful downtown Inman. On site, there's a chapel, multiple viewing rooms, crematorium, and arrangement rooms. Experiencing the loss of a loved one is difficult. Allow the caring professionals at Seawright Funeral Home to honor your family with dignity and respect.
All right, we're back here at Real Talk with Coach Matt Real and some special guests. We got some All-Stars here. Jeremiah Favorite, we're going to go with you first because your Shrine Bowl selection. And, glad to have you back. Last week was first game back after you took a little hiatus due to a minor injury, I'm going to call it. But great game. Glad to have you back there on the field. How'd it feel?
It felt great. Being out wasn't the best. I had to just fight through some mental. Seeing, everybody go out and, have fun, knowing it was my last ride. So, didn't expect it to go like that, missed a few games, but, getting back, it just felt good. They let me go full on, DB, punt return, kick return, things like that. And just getting the ball in my hands and, making play on the ball. Almost had a pick. I should have had it.
Yeah, you did.
Had a couple you almost took to the house, too.
Yeah, I did. So just being back, it felt good. It felt normal. It felt right.
All right, so you're selected to play in the Shrine Bowl, and that's a big deal here in South Carolina. Tell me, you're going into that, what's that feel for people that have never been through? What's that feel to be, one of the top players in the state selected to a very prestigious Shrine Bowl?
Honestly, it feels great. I think it reflects the hard work I put in since day one. Coming here, from day one, it's just the work's been put in. I know it hasn't been a Shrine Bowl here in a long time, and just being picked, selected, because obviously not everybody goes. So just being picked and selected for a big game like that, it just represents all the hard work that I put in. That the team, the coach has pushes me, my teammates is pushing me. It's a great thing to look back on and say, okay, yeah, like this is rolling, like this is me. It's a great thing to have.
It's kind of like validation of all the hard work, and now it's validated your efforts and kind of caps off a senior year. I know you got big plans going in the future, going up to Michigan State.
Yes, sir.
But you still got some work left to do here.
Yes,
we got a big game coming here Friday night. We got 3 more games, and then we got playoffs. So I'm sure that your job's not done yet, but so far a pretty good job has been done.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Well, congratulations again, Shrine Bowl select, and looking forward to following you. That's going to be a great game, and I'm sure you're going to show up and show out.
Shrine Bowl's here in Spartanburg.
It is in Spartanburg.
Yeah, right up the road. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Next All-Star we got North-South All-Star, Grayson Crow. Again, that's got to feel great. That's a very prestigious game as well. You get to go down to the coast and play. Instead of having to stay here in Spartanburg, you get to go to the coast and play.
Sightseeing.
A little sightseeing trip down there. Talk about that. How's that feel?
It's great. I mean, you can't thank all the coaches that picked me enough. I'm just excited to go down there and showcase what I can do. I mean, I feel like I need to take the same mentality that I've had all season and take it up there and keep working and show out.
Well, you made it pretty easy for the coaches to select you because of all the effort you put on the field. Last year, this year, it's all kind of a work in progress, and it just culminates with, hey, as a North-South All-Star.
Yes, sir.
That's a great game, and it doesn't get billed as much as it should, but that is a huge event down there on the coast. North-South, it's one of my favorite, things to go see. Of course,
yes, sir.
Having gone to Coastal, I'd like to go back, any chance I get, I'd go back down there. Yes, but because I couldn't get into college, I had to go to Coastal. So that's what I tell people. But, did a great job this year so far. But, again, your work's not done either. I mean, you're coming off one of your best games of the season against Wade Hampton. We need that again this week. You got Vikings coming to town.
Yes, sir. I think I just need to keep building off of the good weeks that I had. Obviously, last week was one of my better games, and I feel like I just need to carry that momentum into the last few games and in the playoffs.
Your big receiving core, and we got another All-Star shows up with us, another receiver on the team, North-South, Jaden Great. Jaden, glad to have you with us tonight. Kind of the same questions. Talk about the emotions going through it. You've worked hard coming off last year, working this year, and you've earned a spot on the North-South team.
Yes, sir. It's just it's nice seeing all of the hard work that I put in the past 4 years pay off, and it's just a real honor.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said to Grace, you made it pretty easy for the coaches to select. I mean, you got one of the coaches sitting right here, so that,
Well, that's the downfall for them. They got to spend another week with me.
Yeah. Well, they said that off there. I wasn't going to bring that up, but since you did, no. But again, it is a big deal. any type of all-star game, whether it's North, South, or Shrine Bowl, that means you're one of the best in the whole state. And this is a pretty big state with a lot of talent in it. So to have 3 guys sitting here, and Jaden, the receiving core, 2 of our receivers are in the game. I mean, that speaks a lot about the work y'all have done and the work you've done specifically at your position, because you're not only just a receiver, you're playing H-back, you're playing wide out. You kind of do all the different things, and that's what they look at. So, you earned it. They didn't give it to you, you took it. So, talk about what is some of the stuff you did here during the season, or was that ever really on your mind, or you just focusing on your job here and it just happens?
I was just focusing on my job. It was really all unexpected, really. But when I got the news, I was really excited.
Well, you should be. I mean, it's an all-star game. It's going to be, I guess the last time you get to play high school football in this state. You're going to be playing, obviously, with one of your teammates and the best all over the state. Jeremiah, you're going to be playing with, the best guys in the Shrine Bowl against the best guys North Carolina has to offer. So, I mean, y'all have earned it. And, we're proud of you and glad you're going to be representing Bowling Springs.
Yeah, and I'd like to say, it's a privilege. I've been able to watch you guys grow up. Grayson, I've seen you since you were like in 4th grade playing football, but it's been a pleasure watching you guys, grow into young men. And it's an honor to have you guys selected as All-Stars. Bowling Springs High School hasn't had a Shrine Bowler, I think, since 08, 09, or 09, 10, I think. So that's a big honor right there, and to have 2 North-South All-Stars. I mean, if you look at the rosters, a lot of schools don't have any, or they might have 1, and here we are 2 with North-South and 1 Shrine Bowler. So it's an honor to have you guys and come out here and display your talents every Friday night. So we certainly appreciate that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. Like going through this process from the coaching side, obviously it's a lot, but you can only have 4 total. You can have 2 in the Shrine Bowl and 2 in North South as a team. That's part of the rules as far as how the selection process goes. So for us to have 1 in the Shrine Bowl and then 2 guys, 3 out of the 4, that's a pretty big deal.
It is.
And it's a great it's a great testament to our football program and to these guys. What they brought to the table, how hard they've worked, and it's pretty cool for me going in there and hearing other coaches talk really highly about your kids. And then the other part of this is we do a bunch of character references too. Like we don't just choose necessarily the best football players, and that's the criteria, but it's also a great football player that also has great character. And we make these calls and talk to these coaches, and it's just awesome hearing about all the great kids across the state that are really talented football players, but are also honor roll kids, student government leaders, leaders in the school, leaders in the community. It's just cool. It's a great part of high school football, getting to be able to see all that, and then obviously for these guys to go and get to enjoy that week off from school and just play football.
Yeah, and it's great for the younger athletes on your team to be able to see these selections and say, hey, Bowling Springs is getting noticed. We can, if we work hard, we can make an all-star team, whether it's the North, South, or the Shrine Bowl. So, leading by example right there. So that's great.
Yeah, that's team leadership. And guys, again, we're very proud of the effort y'all put, and of course, getting selected for that and getting recognized for your efforts is a testament to you, like you said, character-wise as well as just on the football field. So, got to finish out this season. Got at least 4 games left. We've got 3 games left plus a playoff game, and they all count. We got to play hard. But when you get a chance, you got to kind of soak it up and enjoy the moment that you've earned. But again, congratulations. Appreciate you joining us tonight. We're going to take a quick break. Got 2 other guys we're going to bring in, and we look forward to seeing you Friday night against the Vikings. Thanks, guys.
Congrats, man.
Have you been hurt by church? Have you maybe lost your faith or lost your way? We understand that at View Church because we've been there. If you're looking for an authentic place to worship with authentic people that understand brokenness, we would love for you to come and be our guest sometime. We have 2 services at 8:30 and 11, and we're located at 5555 Pierce Bridge Road in Bowling Springs. Come, find hope again.
And we're back here at Real Talk with Coach Matt Real, and 2 more special guests in tonight. Every week we do an offensive and defensive player of the game, and of course I don't pick it, but Ken and Todd, they get to choose it because I sponsor it. That's why I didn't have anything to do with it. But I'll be glad to talk to you a little bit. Hard work on the offensive side of the ball. Trayshawn Zuber, you're the player of the game from the game against Wade Hampton. Tell us a little about, during the game, stuff you do, plus all season, because we've talked about you a lot on the air all season long. So tell a little bit about your thoughts in the game and how you played.
Just going to that game, it's more about not really if we could beat them. It's more like just staying locked in and just focus on one team at a time. So I think just the preparation we had that week was just great. And, when you got a group of guys that's just willing to go all out 1 week of practice, you can do stuff like that. And I feel like we can do that every week if we just put our minds to it.
Yeah, the receiving core we have here is very good, and you're a key part of that and definitely a great addition to the receiving core. You've been all over the field all year, a lot of touches on the ball, and what you've established, whether you realize this or not, is you're a target that they have to pay attention to you, which frees up some of the other guys. And, that's another vital part of the receiving core for you, and that's just a testament to the hard work you've been putting into it. Coming into the season, what were your expectations, and are you meeting them, or are you not quite done yet?
I'm definitely not quite done yet.
There you
because
go.
We got a lot more games.
That was a
to
setup.
play.
That was a setup.
Yeah, don't sleep on Trey, man. He's a high intellect.
Yeah.
Don't let him fool you.
Yeah, basically, like, me coming into the season, I was expecting to get some touches because obviously the reason coming over here was more because my family over here and just getting the ball more and being able to get more connections with college coaches and stuff. When you got like guys like our receivers like Crow, Samuel, Dion, like them guys are talented, and credit to our DBs because we work with them every day. They get us right. I feel like we got the best secondary in the region. So going out there on Fridays is really
that's a good point.
It's good for us.
I like it, Coach, the way he's got a DB sitting next to him. He talks about, hey, these guys are great, because if not, they'll light him up at practice.
Well, well, here's the thing. Like, we talked to, like, I think when Trey first got here, him and Fave are going at it every day, and him and Karan are going at it every day. So you're not going to win all those battles. And that's the whole point of those guys practicing good on good is when you face really good people every day in practice, you got two choices. You either compete at a high level or you get embarrassed. And, Trey would win a rep, and we would get all over the DBs. And then the next time the DBs come back and win the rep, we get all over Trey. And I tell them all the time it should be a 50-50, like, because you're all really good players. There shouldn't be a day where Trey goes out and catches 15 balls on our secondary. If he does, then they're lacking a little bit. Or should there be a day where Trey goes out and doesn't have any receptions versus our secondary? If it's good versus good, then and I think that's been the biggest thing for our guys is they're seeing really good competition on both sides of the ball every time we compete, and that's what makes you a better player.
Yeah, and definitely paid off for you this past Friday against Wade Hampton, but we're going to need you big time against Spartanburg coming here because, again, playoff implications on the line. Every game counts. So you've got to forget about what you did Friday night, even though we want to recognize you for it. But, got to lace them up and start again on Friday. But for this past Friday against Wade Hampton, we picked you as the offensive player of the game against Wade Hampton. Keep up the good work, and appreciate all the hard work you've been putting into it and looking to finish the season strong. Now coming in, we have our defensive player of the game, Karan Nesbitt. And, we've been calling your name all season too. During the game, these two are texting back and forth. He's on the sideline. He's up in the booth, and they're saying, all right, what do you think about this? What's Karan done this time? We just called his name a minute ago. It's all the names. And, every week your name's being mentioned. So why they didn't choose y'all every week, you just have to argue with them later. It wasn't me. But you were picked this week. Talk about your defensive play there and your mindset going into it because that was a big game.
Coach Anderson made a good game plan, knowing I have cover two, knowing if I see a boba, I got to go attack it, setting the tone for the defense, and warm-ups came out a little weak, expecting probably a bigger blowout because people expected us to beat Wade Hampton. So just me thinking my last ride, I got to come out with a bang, knowing we got to win out to have a chance to win. Well, not have a chance to win region, but still have a home playoff game, which haven't done.
It's been a while since we've had a home playoff game.
It's been a while.
So it's been a while.
Coach Rubin preaches to us about winning out, being physical. So me in that moment just being physical and making us setting the tone for defense.
Yeah, and Todd's defense and my defense. You know,
I threw him under the bus. Now you're going to try to fix the transmission while
well,
he's there.
we realized pretty much in the jamboree when we were calling both your names a lot, we're like, we're going to be able to pick these guys any game that we want for player of the game. That's how good you guys have been. I mean, Crom, when you're on defense, it seems like you're in on almost every single play, you know. And then Trey, with you, it seems like either you're getting the ball or you made a big block to free up somebody, and so, you know, we finally came down to where, you know, y'all put a complete game together, and you know, some other players had some big games, but we're like, you know, season's getting down. We got to recognize, because we're getting to the point now we might have to start recognizing you more than once per season.
Well, we hope so. I mean, they have a chance to earn it every week, and you guys could have picked them earlier, but you didn't.
Sure,
that's
we
okay.
did. Yeah.
But you got another chance. I'm throwing you under the bus, Todd. But you got a chance to earn it again Friday night against the Vikings, and that's a big game. I mean, I've been broadcasting it for this 18 years now, and you know, we went 0-28. I say we. I never played against here, but I actually played for Spartan High years ago. But 0-28, and then all of a sudden, Bulldogs pulled out a victory and won like 10 of the next 12. And it's like every other year now. So it's our turn. They won last year. It's our turn to win this year. So talk about that a little bit. Your preparation for Friday night in the big home game, last home game against Spartan High.
Knowing they came off a big win against Dorman, we struggled against Dorman, so we put that in the past. Knowing they have momentum come to our house, you know, undefeated here. Knowing they have a good running back, quarterback, you know, game plan is just stop the run game. If we can stop the run game, defense will be all right. Just get the offense back on the field. No offense can score for us.
Yeah, I like that thought process, Coach.
Yeah.
You got a defensive guy.
He actually does listen. That's unbelievable.
Hey, he kind of, his eyes just lit up a little bit. Yeah, I want to get that running back. I like that.
Well, I mean, I think I talked to Karan before the season ever started, and you know, when you play opposite of a Division I corner who everybody knows about, in theory, you're probably going to get more play. And I challenged him and said, look, man, you got a chance to have probably more stats than anybody this year. And it's not that you're not a good player. It's just nobody wants to throw over there. And I think he's done a great job of understanding that and really just relishing the fact of, hey, they're going to try me, so I got to go make plays. And, you know, you can watch when we play defense, we don't do anything different. If he needs to be by himself, he can be by himself. If we want to go, you know, Fave by himself, we can go by himself. So having both those guys and obviously having them, you know, 2 solid years and really 3 years overall, I think it's been huge for us. And really just knowing that whatever we get into, we got confidence that whether it's him, whether it's Fave, whether it's whoever, they're going to go play, they're going to make a play for us, and we can just keep doing our normal stuff. So, you know, I told him, I said, man, like it's not a knock. It's just it's a good thing because you got a chance to make a play every game. You're going to be challenged, and you get to find out and show people, hey, man, I'm pretty good too.
And you have been showing that. You know, I mean, that's all year long. We call your name a lot, and then one of the leaders on the defense, and you know, it's the confidence like Coach Real was talking about. You know, they got confidence in your abilities. You got confidence in them, so y'all mesh well together, and that's how a team, you know, gels and makes a deep run here, not only in region but in the playoffs as well. So we're looking forward to getting back on the field Friday night against the Vikings and you know, taking the next step toward, you know, hopefully a home playoff game and who knows what after that. But for Friday night against Wade Hampton, you were the defensive player of the game. I want to present that to you. Keep up the good work, and looking forward to a game against the Vikings here at the Dog Pound.
Let's get the win Friday night.
Appreciate it, guys. We'll take another break, and we're going to come back with Coach Real. Appreciate it, man. Thanks, guys.
Derrick Henry.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. I saved so much bundling, it inspired my workout. Auto! Home!
Okay. And this is Auto again, right?
Auto!
Hey, this is my living room.
Home!
Bundling, just another way to save with the personal price plan. The dog isn't allowed on the couch, Derek. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Call Agent Chad Wagner, Asheville Highway, Spartanburg, 585-7999.
And we're back here at Real Talk with Coach Matt Real. And, Coach, we've had some very special guests come on tonight, 3 All-Stars, which is just huge for the team, and it says a lot about the coaching staff and how you coached them up in preparation. It's got to be a good feeling when you can talk about All-Star, Shrine Bowl, and North-South.
Well, I told our kids, when they announced the North-South and they announced the Shrine Bowl, that's individual awards, but it's really, an award for all of our team, because those guys don't have the success they have in fullness without, good people around them. When our D-line gets pressure and the quarterback's got to get rid of the ball a lot faster than if he's sitting back there and waiting for routes to develop, obviously that helps our DBs. If our O-line works really well and gives our quarterbacks time to get through their progression and get balls on guys, that helps our receivers. So, it's awesome, and it's a celebration of those individuals who've worked really, really hard to be able to be in that position. But I told our team, man, it's also a celebration for you guys, and you all have a part of that. So, but I think, we've had the last 3 years, we've had a North-South. JoJo Barrett was North-South. Obviously, Lincoln was North-South last year with Kyle Patterson, and then, having 2 more North-South guys this year and Fave in the Shrine Bowl. I mean, that's a pretty special year for your football program. I don't, outside of, probably Northwestern, Gaffney, maybe, a couple other schools, I don't know how many teams have, 3 guys in All-Star games. So it's a really big thing for our program and for our kids, and I think it really just speaks to the work they're putting in, but then also, how hard our coaches are working to get those guys recognized, to get those guys opportunities to be successful and to showcase, in front of the people that need to be showcased,
right?
Whether it's recruiters, whether it's, these All-Star game coaches, whether, whatever the platform is, our coaches do a really good job. I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about my staff. They do just a really good job of getting kids in front of the right people, and then obviously kids have to put the work in to get there. So it's just a good marriage, right now of everybody just doing what they need to be doing.
Well, building on that, these guys could be outstanding players, but if they're on a 1-7 team or a 1-10 team, they're not going to be as recognized as much because it's hard to stand out when the rest of the team is not stepping up. So, again, it is a total program that helps these guys get showcased because, you could be the best receiver on the field, but if your team's getting blown out, you're not going to be noticed as much.
No doubt. Shrine Bowl was really tough. You got to be a really good player, and typically they come from really good established football teams. North-South, just kind of a little bit of a background. We have to have at least one player from every region. So, there are some good players that don't make it,
right?
And that's part of it too. But, you can only have 2. You only get, 44 roster spots. You kind of get told you got this many receivers, this many running backs, this many, all the way through. And then, like I said, you got to get representation of every region who nominates people. So there's a little bit more to it than just saying, hey, we're going to take the best 44 players. And then, there's a whole list, and you don't know that stuff until you're given the rules, given the layout, given, the restrictions of everything that you got to do. And then, and it's been a lot of evaluation. I mean, we were doing camps last April, May, June, July, and obviously, you're doing all your stuff with your regular football team, but then you're putting together, practice plans for December. You're putting together a roster for December. You're getting installations made for December. You're contacting these kids and telling them, hey, look, I'm not trying to take you away from your team you're preparing for now, but, hey, I'm going to go ahead and give you some of this stuff so we can start looking at it. I mean, I think last year with Lincoln, middle of October, about right now, 1st of November, those guys were putting everything in, and through social media platforms and all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot to it, but man, it's really exciting. And I think North-South Week's a really fun week. I've been able to see it, behind the scenes. I've had kids play there before, and it's a lot of fun. They do a really good job of celebrating the kids that week. Football's football, but then they do a great job of just rewarding those kids. And then Shrine Bowl is just so prestigious.
It is.
You know, getting a kid there. I've only had one other Shrine Bowl kid, so this is pretty special for me too.
Sure.
Then obviously being in Spartanburg, I'll be able to go there and watch, you know, him practice every day, see him be a part of it, and just excited for those guys and their families to be able to enjoy, you know, all the work they put into it.
And coming out of Region 2 5A, to have 3 guys, you know, you said it's got to be so many out of each region. For them to get selected out of this region is also huge because this is such a big region. I mean, with talent.
It is, and there's a good number of guys from our region that made it. I know Gaffney had, I think, 2 guys, 2 that made it. We had 3. Dorman, 2 that I know of, and there could be more. I know Spartanburg's had their quarterback and one of their linemen's on our list. Love made the Shrine Bowl. Burns had a D lineman make the Shrine Bowl. I mean, there's
a lot.
As we all know, there's really good football in our region. So you would expect there'd be really good players as well. Usually, if you're pretty good, you usually have pretty good players. So I mean, just spread across the whole region. I don't mean anybody that I didn't say. I'm not trying to hold anybody out, but just really good players who also have been coached really, really well, and that's why they're in those games.
Well, speaking of really good players, we got a big game here Friday night with the Vikings coming to town. I know y'all been prepping for it. You know, it doesn't get any easier, but it's going to be a big one, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's another opportunity for our kids to establish themselves against a team that, you know, like I said, man, this is the teams we were brought here to beat. You know, I'm not overlooking anybody else, but, you know, when I first got here, that's the only teams that were in our region. So it was 4 weeks of just the best football you've ever seen. You know, and now we've still got some other teams from Greenville that are in there, but, you know, Riverside's having a good year. They pose their own problems. So we got 3 weeks of really good football with an opportunity, you know, like I told the kids today, to do some things that haven't been done here in a very long time.
Fortunately, two of the last 3 games are going to be here at the Dog Pound. We're going on the road next week to Riverside, but got to take care of the game this Friday night.
It's going to be a sellout.
Yeah. Coach, I know you've had practice all day long, and got to go home, get some sleep, and get back, start at it again tomorrow, because it's Wednesday tomorrow. We're just 3 days away from teeing it up.
Yeah, we got north-south meetings. We have them every Wednesday, so I'll be there tomorrow morning, and then I'll get back right about lunchtime, and we'll jump into, you know, preparation for Wednesday practice and get after it. Hopefully have a better day than we had today. You know, we just struggled a little bit today getting through some stuff, so tomorrow is going to be a big challenge day for us, and our kids will respond. We'll have a great day tomorrow. We'll have a great tune-up on Thursday, and then turn them loose on Friday, man.
That's what football's all about. Well, appreciate y'all tuning in tonight for the Real Talk with Coach Matt Real. Big game here at the Dog Pound on Friday night. If you can't make it, tune in, and we'll bring you every play as we always do. And so until then, thanks for listening.